I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter, who does not want to be in a locker room with a biological boy.
In suburban Chicago recently, hundreds of parents delivered a strong message to their school board. Keep transgender students out of opposite-sex locker rooms and bathrooms.
There are sexual predators out there that will take advantage of this. The reason why we keep males and females separated is to prevent problems. But now you're saying, oh no, there's no problem.
If we're not going to separate our bathrooms and locker rooms by anatomy, then what are we going to do? Like, what are we doing?
Action by the Department of Education sparked this meeting and could lead to financial consequences for school districts across the country. The debate centers around Title IX, the 1972 federal law which guarantees equal education benefits for male and female students. 2 years ago, the Department of Ed updated guidelines, saying its non-discrimination clause now applies to gender identity. Illinois' 211 became the first school district it found in violation. Its crime, denying a boy who became a transgender girl access to female bathrooms and locker rooms. The department told the district comply or lose millions in federal funds. Alliance Defending Freedom attorney Matt Sharp says that potential financial loss could cripple school districts. The federal government typically pays them anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 per student each year.
A lot of money, especially for smaller rural school districts that don't have the same tax base. And so for these schools, that federal funding is vital to continue to provide athletic programs and sports and books and lunches and all of the things students need to learn.
Schools are also faced with an open definition of what it means to be transgender.
So schools are left in this very difficult situation of saying, how can we know if this is a student just wanting to gain access to the opposite sex restrooms or a student who genuinely believes they are the gender of the opposite biological sex?
It happened last year at this Gloucester, Virginia high school. A girl who became a transgender boy told administrators that he wanted to use the boys' facilities.
The Gloucester transgender student has changed his name and undergone hormone treatments in order to create a more masculine appearance. He says using the girls' bathroom or even a private bathroom would make him feel like an outcast.
For me, the thought of going into a separate restroom, which might as well have been labeled other, was just far too much to bear.
Some students back in District 211 told CBN News they agree separate is not equal.
If you separate somebody from their peers, you can't call that equality. It's just not fair to them.
People are talking about justice for everyone, privacy for all students, but what about this specific student who has been discriminated against?
But privacy advocates, including many parents, believe separate facilities provide a reasonable compromise. The Christian legal group Alliance Defending Freedom says schools should adopt such policies.
But as an act of compassion and using policies like ours, they're saying, we will give you a private place to change and use the restroom. We are going to accommodate you so that you can have a place at school that's just yours while protecting everyone else.
School choice advocates like Neil McCluskey say while the federal government should protect against discrimination, it should stay out of the transgender debate for now.
There are competing values there. A lot of people are concerned about privacy. A lot of people think that's a moral issue. And it's something that should be debated at local and state level.
A federal court will soon decide the Virginia case and could set a national precedent. In Illinois, District 211 recently settled with the Department of Ed. It built changing stalls in its locker rooms for transgender students.
They're trying to rewrite Title IX by memo.
It's a defeat for moms Vicki Wilson and Lisa Moran, who have formed a parent group to support separate facilities. They're urging others to get ready and take part in the debate.
This is going to be affecting so many districts. A lady from a neighboring district just came up to me and said, I need help.
It's a social experiment most parents never dreamed would happen, giving students the ability to choose their bathroom and locker room. And with no scientific or legal definition of what it means to be transgender, the new federal policy has left the door open for many difficult, awkward, and potentially abusive situations.
Okay, we are getting a look at the newest humanoid. Boston Dynamics revealed the new generation of its Atlas robot. You can see just how human-like the robot is in this new video. It can walk through snow, Anne-Marie. It can lift objects, open doors, and pick itself up off the floor. Atlas is 5'9" and weighs 180 pounds. An interesting note, it uses the same technology as some driverless cars. And right there, this is what apparently makes it so amazing, because when it comes to robots and their balance, they all in the past haven't had the best agility, but now they can fall down and get back up.
It gets up easier than I would. If somebody did that to me, I'd be down for the count. Wow, still a little creepy though. Sorry guys, didn't master that yet.
CBN military correspondent Chuck Holton traveled in northern Iraq, where he found evidence the Islamic State launched 30 mortar shells near Sinjar on February 11th. Those shells turned out to be chemical weapons.
To sicken about 175 Kurdish soldiers who were here in these positions along the front line.
The humanitarian group Free Burma Rangers helped treat the exposed soldiers. This soldier said his chest is clogged and that he has trouble breathing. Holton discovered signs of the chemical weapons surrounding the demolished city of Sinjar. It's not the first time. U.S. officials told The Hill recently that ISIS used chemical weapons in northern Iraq last August. Defense Secretary Ashton Carter says the U.S. is watching ISIS's emerging capability very closely and has taken action against it. Holton explained the significance of this latest attack.
If ISIS has access to chemical weapons and is able to make them or has a stockpile that it's captured in Syria, those things could very easily be moved around the globe and be used with horrible effect.
ISIS continues to advance in northern Iraq, although Peshmerga forces recently retook the city of Sinjar. They found heavy destruction along with many IEDs.
An atheist group has lost its decade-long fight against two Florida-based Christian ministries that help ex-convicts cope with life after prison. The atheists had sued Prisoners of Christ and Lamb of God Ministries. Both received state aid to help fund their successful programs. The organizations provide housing, food, and career counseling to former prisoners. The Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty defended the ministries and said the lawsuit was, quote, meritless. In the end, the court sided with the ministries, calling the lawsuit discriminatory.
Angelica Yulchi, who asked not to be seen, and her husband Dustin were living in Brazil last summer when Dustin was diagnosed with Zika. Angelica was pregnant. Earlier this month, doctors told them to practice safe sex.
Since the doctor suggested us to use protection, yeah, we are gonna use.
The advice either to abstain from sex or use latex condoms during sex is now being given by the CDC to all pregnant women whose male partners have been to Zika-affected countries. On February 2nd, the first known case of sexual transmission of Zika virus during the current outbreak was reported in Dallas. With today's 14 suspected cases, the CDC is rethinking how the disease is spread. Jennifer McQuiston studies Zika at the CDC.
With these new suspected cases that we're investigating, we're really becoming more aware that sexual transmission may happen more often than we previously thought.
Zika has been linked to microcephaly in newborns, abnormally small heads, and developmental delays. The virus remains in the blood for an average of about 1 week, but can stay in semen for much longer, 62 days in one case. There's no evidence of sexual transmission from women to men.
Virtual reality could become a billion-dollar business this year. The comparatively fledgling tech dominated this week's Mobile World Congress, with HTC Vive's new headset among those on display. The Vive includes a front-facing camera and 2 hand-tracking controllers. 2 laser tracking boxes help measure the headset's position as users move.
Our HMD, our headset, is connected to the PC, and we run the games through the PC platform. We, of course, are partnering with Steam, who provide a huge customer base for gaming. They are the leaders in that space.
As well as gaming and video, the Vive allows users to answer phone calls and read texts. It costs $799, but the firm says it's value for money.
Well, there's a lot of technology going on in that kit. As part of the default sales kit, we provide 2 base stations that will fully track the user within the room. We provide 2 fully tracked controllers, and then also the HMD that includes a camera, a microphone, super high quality lenses, and also a very high resolution display. And we feel actually what we are providing the user is definitely worth every dollar.
When launched in April, HTC Vive will go head-to-head or headset-to-headset with the likes of Oculus Rift, Samsung and Sony in a bid to become market leader.
VR could be seen by some as gimmicky unless you try it, and when you try it you know that there's something there. You know that it's bringing something special into people's lives, traveling distances you would never do yourself.
Market analysts say 13 million VR headsets would have been sold by the end of this year, giving the industry plenty to cheer about.
A new study shows that having a mobile phone close to the testicles or within a foot or 2 of the body can lower sperm levels so much that conceiving could become difficult, reports The Telegraph. The findings have led to leading British fertility experts to advise men to stop being addicted to mobile phones. Specialists found that sperm levels of men who kept their phones in their pockets during the day were seriously affected in 47% of cases, compared to just 11% in the general population. The team monitored more than 100 men attending a fertility clinic for a year. Even keeping a phone on a bedside table appears to lower sperm counts. The quality of sperm among men in Western countries is constantly decreasing and is considered crucial in 40% of cases. By contrast, Professor Alan Pacey, a fertility research scientist at Sheffield University, has scoffed at suggestions that mobile phones could be damaging male fertility and insists he will continue to carry his phone in his pocket.